Your dad's really funny, but he also is really mean.
Guys, welcome back to Hill to Die On Pod.
Welcome to our podcast.
This is huge. This is the first ever episode here at Hill to Die On.
Yep. Yeah.
Happy to be here. I'm Greg Melly. I'm
Grace Lobo. Thanks for coming to our podcast.
At my friend's basement.
So nice of you guys to come in the rain.
Really?
Yeah.
Thanks for strapping up the boots and getting out here. Global warming. Let me tell you, this is going to be a very political episode today.
You know what? Here's the thing. I feel like historically I was mocked for bringing up weather, and here I am doing it again.
I know. But I kind of led into it too.
You did,
No,
yeah.
you did. You started it.
No, I started it.
Yeah. We also have jacksowack behind the mic today, behind the camera, I should say. That is Jamie, or you know her as the most recent guest here. Most recent guest on Hill to Die On Pod. That was big for the program.
Controversial guest.
Controversial. I say we get into that right away.
Should we talk about that?
Grace, please lead us in.
This all happened on Wednesday, and now it's Saturday.
Yep.
We posted a reel of our lovely, gorgeous producer, Jaclyn, where she was saying that, Jack, do you want to explain what you'd said?
It was the story I told about my coworker telling me he was surprised my boyfriend was hot.
Yes, exactly. Which is a story about someone implying that you could not pull.
It's a story where someone is mean to me.
Right. It's an anti-woman story.
Oh, so that's why you like it. Yeah.
No, I thought
Greg's
it was.
been unbelievably anti-woman all morning. I just want context.
Literally, we very much specified not to bring that up on pod.
I wanted it.
We don't need the record to be shown.
I want
here.
the record. Let the record show.
Objection.
Jaclyn walked under my umbrella.
Objection. No proof. Yeah, because I didn't want to hold her umbrella while she held her pants up.
Okay, so anyway, we post this clip of Jaclyn saying this crime has been committed against her, and
an unfair crime, to be fair, because you are not out of my league and I am not out of yours.
Okay, the TikTok cinematic universe did not like this
dude,
clip at all.
Yo, it blew up for sure.
Blew up is a strong term. I wouldn't say
blew the fuck up.
It got,
we were on Good
got
Morning
more,
America.
It got more views than we would typically get.
I
would say it got about triple
America.
the views it normally did, and maybe 50 times the comments.
Yeah, the engagement for sure was much, much higher.
Mostly people saying, what a weird conversation. Why are you guys talking about this? It's crazy to compare people's attractiveness. And everyone came for Jaclyn.
Yeah, and they were also like, yo, what a terrible, like, how can you bring him down like that? Like, you can't talk about a guy's height. Like, that's like if a guy brought up a girl's physical look. And I was like, yo, my fellow short kings, like, just lean into the height, dude. It's all gonna be okay. And they were like, no, but it's like really unhealthy for relationships to do that because like psychologically it's gonna damage the man. And I'm like, oh, so what women have been dealing with for hundreds of years?
Yeah, we didn't clarify that. I in the clip I told that story, and then Greg said, at my height it should never be said. And I said, yes, your height docks you down. So then everyone in the comments was mad that I made fun of his height.
And what's interesting about what happened is like I quickly learned, even in a 30-second clip, people don't have the patience to actually watch the whole clip before commenting.
Yeah, no, they don't. Because there was a guy who was like, was he even gay? And it was like, literally, yes.
And I just responded, did you watch the clip? And he was like, yeah, now I did. I'm like, look what 15 seconds of your life can do.
My favorite comment was someone said, I was not prepared for how average looking he would be.
Oh, yeah. If I could tell you how many times I went to that girl's profile and looked at her profile picture and just, it hurt. And I just said, like, yeah, he felt this one.
Why were you looking at her profile picture?
Because I just wanted to see if I should take that comment seriously.
And so we're back to comparing attractiveness. Yeah.
Like, she doesn't have any videos to really see what she looks like, but I was like, it hurt enough.
Yeah.
You know?
How short is she?
Probably super tall and like really insecure about. Basically, what I'm saying, guys, is I think I'm like the leader of the incels.
Yeah, we did establish
like,
that.
Watch out,
no
Andrew
one's
Tate.
Surprised. You have a podcast.
I know. And
you hate women.
Yo, we gotta chill with this anti-women talk. I do a podcast with 2 of them.
Yeah, well, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, how have you been otherwise? That was fun for me. I liked when we were in that fight on.
I enjoyed it. I had the day off, so I was responding.
For what it's worth, the
comment.
comments were also, every comment was like when you get a text from someone who's mad at you, where it's like a full paragraph, and you're like, oh my God, like, what is this? But you can like scan keywords that's like uncomfortable and like things where you're like, what?
But listen, normally I would be scanning.
No, you were reading it. You were doing a close reading.
I'm a hypocrite. If I'm gonna tell somebody you got to watch the clip, you got to listen to the clip, and then only respond to certain keywords, you're a hypocrite. So I was really giving it the time of day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was really listening to these people. And it wasn't worth it. But I felt my ego was massive. I've never felt like I was the leader of such a short community before.
I'm so happy for you.
I'm not even that short is the thing.
No, they really rallied behind you. It was either people rallying behind you saying Jaclyn was being mean to you, or it was people being like, wow, he's so mid.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It was. And I was here for both of it.
Yeah, you built community. I like that.
I'm here for it.
How else have you been in general?
Dude, I've been doing really well. Momentum has been high right now. The vibes are good.
In what
As
way?
you know,
Sure. I do know
Jamie
this,
and
yeah.
I wrote a TV pilot. We have been writing it
Jamie
for over
Jaclyn,
a year
yeah.
and a half. It's been a super long time in the process of making it. We've told nobody along the way of what we were doing. And
That's not true. I know about it.
Right, but I will do a podcast with you.
Sure.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
I'm not telling people who I know outside of my inner circle.
Okay,
and my
sure.
inner circle is a triangle. It's a triangle, is what I'm saying.
It's so nice.
Just the three of us.
It's just the three of us. You know what I mean? But
you're in a circle for me, for sure. Yeah.
Grace doesn't have a triangle. You have a triangle.
Grace is like an oval, but like a really long one. You know what I mean?
I'm just a pear shape. No.
Yeah. We ended up doing the table read. We did it at the Comedy Cellar. We had some really, really great actors, dude. I think the casting of it was where we popped off the best.
Like did a really good job, probably.
Grace played some extra characters. She played the mom, which was the one character I was like, man, she actually did that pretty well.
I thought the mom was the only character I did well. I played about 8 characters, including pharmacists, doctors 1 and 3.
Look at her. She remembers it. That's how memorable that script was.
But I had a hard time with
Priya.
Yeah, there was a character
Indian
named
girl.
Priya that I was like, do I do an accent?
Yeah, we needed one. We
I
needed
thought,
a
why'd
very
you cast
racist.
me for this?
Well,
But-
running out of.
Okay, fine, I'll do it. No.
But it went really, really well. I mean, I obviously can ask you how you thought it was received, but it did well. But most
I thought it was really
importantly-
funny. I was sorry. Most
You were
importantly, what were you
surprised.
gonna say? I wasn't like, I don't want to say surprised, but
You can
it
say
is
it.
sometimes like your friend writes something and you're kind of like,
Oh, yay.
oh my God. No, I'm so proud. It's crazy you achieved this.
Yeah.
It's like when I've had people come see me do stand up and they'll afterwards, like if I didn't have a great set, they'll be like, you're just so poised up there. And it's like,
yeah.
oh, I'll kill myself.
Yeah. Yeah,
I was really going for poise. Thank you.
But that too is like what I said, like before we started, Jack had like a very good monologue of like what we wanted out of it. And basically all I said was like, yo, if you don't like it,
tell
me.
us. Yeah.
Like tell me you don't like, I don't want you to just yes man me
Yeah.
this way, like my way through this like weird industry that I've never done. I've never written anything worth
Yeah.
noting. You know, like I'm not a writer. Like Jack is an incredible writer. She's the one that structured everything. She like all of the ideas were
Greg likes women again.
mostly mine. But like, I mean, you're crazy to not realize what Jack brought to it.
Oh,
you know,
completely.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I would be.
one is crazy.
I would
Yeah,
be an
agree.
egomaniac to not realize how important Jack's been through this process. I mean, we've done this 50-50. This
Yeah.
was an idea I had before Jaclyn and I ever met, like 3 years ago, pandemic wise, like 4 or 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
So for her to be able to like sit me down, have me on a leash because I'm a wild dog when it comes to like a good
Jesus
idea that I
Christ.
have, and we banged it out and it was good.
It's hard to get him to focus, I will say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the moment like something works, I'm like, yo, I think we got to take this to like the government. Like
Yeah.
this is really, really good. Like this
He
is
like says one line of dialogue that he thinks is funny and he's like 20-minute monologue after that about how awesome the script is.
Someone
Right.
call HBO right now.
that's, but I'm like, yo, honestly, I think we
That's
are
good
the wire.
confidence. You need that.
Oh yeah, like trust me, the confidence is there.
Oh, I'm aware. Yeah,
Right.
I've met
Like
you.
I believe that we all have this ego. Like every artist
But I
is
think
an
that's
ego.
good. Completely. I completely agree.
You know, like there's no other. Why else would I think
Completely.
that I'm worthy
Should
to
have
go
a
on stage and
podcast,
talk
like, go
about
on stage.
anything?
No,
Right.
it's
Not only do we
insane.
do stand up, which is a ridiculous thing.
Yes.
Generally, it's ridiculous. Stand up is like, hey, these are funny.
Yes.
I declared this to be funny. Now
Sure.
you laugh. But
Yeah.
not only do we do that, we do a podcast.
No, I'm aware of
where
how
we're like,
ridiculous it
you
is.
don't have enough of us.
Yeah.
Bang.
How about an hour?
Bang.
Yeah. How about an hour once a week?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I
I
will-
completely agree.
I will say before we had the table read, I took an edible a couple nights before
Chic.
and started spiraling about how it was going to be like embarrassing and like really bad. And then I reread the script while I was high on the edible and I was like, oh no, wait, it's actually pretty
Sometimes
good.
you
Yeah.
reread or rewatch something and you're like, wait, I'm actually kind of good at this. This
Yeah.
is like, I agree. And I think one of the most valuable people, like type of people to have in your life is someone who watches you do the like, I'm going to just decide I have a platform before I deserve one or like merit one. And they're like, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I believe in that for you.
Yeah.
I want that. Like I
Yeah.
have so many friends like that where I'm like, you guys are crazy for listening to my podcast or like coming to my shows.
But
like,
it's like I don't think people are crazy to listen to my podcast.
no, they're not.
Like
but-
I'm not somebody who's like let me work to deserve this
yeah,
when it comes to like of my voice,
sure.
because I just maybe I it's probably it's been embarrassing along the line, like
Sure.
along the
I've
way,
watched
but
it. It's been embarrassing.
right, but it's like
Yeah.
let me do something until something hits.
Sure.
Like just throw shit at the wall until something
I think
sticks.
that's good.
So we did this, and honestly, the feedback was very good at the time. Like a lot of people like enjoyed it. It murdered. We got it on video. It just seemed to do really well. But the most important thing to me was the feedback that I got after the table read from people that were not there but read the script.
Oh, nice.
So like, I mean, I sent it
So
to.
they didn't get to see me being the mom. And
Greg is about to name drop.
No, I'm not going to name drop. I'm not going to name drop
I
because
was gonna say like, please.
No, I'm not. But I sent it to somebody who
Steven Spielberg.
I genuinely idolize in comedy,
sure.
and millions of people do.
Sure.
People do comedy because
This is
of
the
this
same
person.
as name dropping, by the way.
Yeah.
No, but it's way
I
cooler.
can't say who it is, but
It's
Jerry Seinfeld. No.
but along the lines of
Yeah, I know who it is.
like a step under Jerry Seinfeld.
I know who it is.
Right,
Yeah.
a guy who, especially as a writer, as a TV writer,
It's like, and like, how many more details can I give?
and his initials are
Yeah.
But
Probably Irish, I would guess.
And all right, chill. But I was most nervous about that.
Yeah.
Because it's finally a voice that I genuinely care about.
Sure.
A lot of people, like I don't particularly need the feedback from.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anything and most people don't know anything. But somebody who's been in the game for 50
Yeah.
years knows a little bit more than me, right? So I sent it to him and he responded back and said it's really unique and really funny.
Oh, I like that. That's
And
good feedback.
the word unique.
I thought you were going to say he just said, well, it's really unique. And I was going to be, oof. I was
Yeah.
saying, Greg, that's
But I gotta
not
say,
I
like,
hate to tell you that's not a compliment.
I gotta say that unique is the bigger compliment in those two.
If you just got unique though,
It's rough.
That's
rough. Yeah, it's rough.
That's wow.
But
This is your outfit. It's so interesting.
But every time I've seen him since, he's brought it up. He's brought it up to
good.
people who are also much.
Well, I think it's also impressive when someone has made something that is a complete thing start to finish. Like,
Yeah.
and for it also to be good is impressive too. But even like when someone's like, oh, I wrote a book, I'm like, you wrote a book.
Yeah.
Like that's a really impressive.
Yeah.
Versus I'm like, I wrote, I have 30 minutes of material. It's like, that's taken me years to write.
Yeah, that's
but it's
equally like 30 good minutes. I'm like, God damn, dude, that's really good.
But like also it's like it's not one cohesive thing. Like I think
sometimes it could be.
it could be,
Yeah.
but like I think when someone has like a packaged product and you're just like, wow, that's impressive to
Yeah.
have made that anyway.
Honestly, the only thing that I want in my artistic endeavors is
Money.
creativity. I just want to be creative. I want to
differ.
be able to be creative. I want to
Sure.
create things that, like, what my biggest gripe right now with like Hollywood is
Sure.
the fact that everything is just a sequel of something that worked already.
Okay.
Even older movies, we're seeing like, Jack, what was that Roses
Lilo
movie?
and Stitch remake
Right.
alert.
Like, we don't have to live action these films.
Yeah.
Like, what's the Roses movie that's coming
The
up?
War of the Roses.
Right. And I'm like, oh, that movie looked creative. And Jack's like, it's actually just a remake of a movie in the
Yeah.
70s. And then after it's like, oh, a remake of, I'm like, can somebody think of an original idea?
Yeah.
And like, I genuinely believe it's like what the industry needs. The industry needs something original. Look at
yeah.
BoJack. You know what I mean?
No, and I feel like yours is in that vein of okay, so can I say what the premise is?
Yeah.
It's called Doge, not related to Elon Musk.
No,
or
unless that's going to
Dogecoin.
make you watch, then.
But it's about an animated dog.
Right.
But he's the only animal character. Everyone else is human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he obviously like lives as a human and
Yeah.
nobody really questions it.
Yeah, and there's
Like,
like a love
there are
story
moments,
element.
but-
There's
yeah.
like, and I think the animated details are like, which were written not, like, it's not like we saw them at the table read, but I think they had a lot of funny.
Yeah. And those were the ideas that I had before I ever wrote anything.
It's all just a vision in Greg's head. He had a dream.
It's
No, it was very cool, and congratulations.
Thank
guys.
you.
That was really
So now the next step is what we got to do. So I've gotten a lot of good ideas from, like comics that I work with that are telling me different things to do for like how to pitch it and how to take
Yeah.
the next step. And I mean, I'm very interested in doing that, but I'm
Sure.
also like Greer Barnes, who is my favorite comic of all time, did not tell me this, but told a comic who was helping me along the lines with this was like, yo, the biggest thing as an artist is your life is a journey to create gunpowder.
right.
More gunpowder. So the moment something sparks, it's a bigger firework.
Okay. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like just make something spark so everything can hit. Hence why we do this podcast.
Sure. Just keep
You know what I
putting
mean?
stuff out there. Yeah.
We're not like, I hope one day to grow up to be just the podcaster.
Really?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I thought you were okay. Sorry. Wow.
You know
We're really
what I mean?
on the same page.
We want to be other things.
Yes.
And
yeah.
this is a way to make that.
It was
better.
easy to get lost there, Grace. I'll give it to
yeah.
you.
Sorry.
When Greg talks
there's
about how women talk too much.
I know. I really got to dial it down.
Yeah.
I'm starting. You can tell where I'm. You know,
we were
I'm starting to.
Okay, we were on a walk here, and I was telling a story about going to a bar, and Greg was like, "I can't follow this," and we were like, "You're not even making." It's a pretty easy story.
Yeah, no.
But it was
Your
raining.
face got real serious. You were like,
"There's a lot going on." There's a lot going on. Okay, yeah, that's exciting though. I'm proud of you. Good job. He's rolling his eyes when I say I'm proud of him.
Yeah. What are you doing? What's up with you?
I'm good. I did go out last night, and that was fun. I saw my cousin's band.
Whoa.
Yeah, my cousin Spike is in a band called
Spike?
Heavy Lemon.
Does he know Spike Lee?
No.
What?
It's different spelling. SPYKE.
Oh, so they're gay.
His real
It's a
name
they,
is
them.
also his real name is Michael. But his band persona is kind of Spike. And his band is called Heavy Lemon. I saw
Heavy Lemon.
Heavy Lemon. They used to be called Sweaty Lemon. They had to rebrand because I think almost everyone from the band has been replaced except for Spike, if it's my understanding. I was impressed by how good they were. Same thing as seeing, again, it's the same thing. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go see my cousin's band. I don't know. And they were really good.
Good.
So that was fun.
Is
and
it
then
like a metal band?
I would say they're like rock.
Cool. Did they play Come On Eileen?
They didn't play Come On Eileen. They played almost all originals.
Hey,
they have a song called
Spike's writing?
They have a song called Sex in a Basket.
Weird. That's relatable.
Yeah,
I like that.
I was like, it's about a hot air balloon basket. So anyway, Heavy Lemon. I would love for one day them to follow me back on Instagram. That's my goal.
It's not gonna happen. I was talking to him today.
I don't think it's gonna happen. Then I went out to a bar with friends, a friend of mine after, and we met like her friends there. And one of them was having a conversation. I thought you would appreciate this. He turned to me to like pull me into the conversation and goes, "Oh, we're talking about the Philadelphia baseball team." And I was like,
The Phillies?
Phillies?
Yeah, that's a weird.
I was like, I don't know.
Was that a man?
It was a man, yeah.
Of course.
But I was kind of like, the Phillies it's not even like, okay, I guess in theory, like, it's not like the Dodgers where it's like that name has nothing to do with the city it's based in. But I was like, you think I wouldn't be able to, you think I wouldn't be able to figure out that the Phillies are the Philadelphia baseball
right,
team?
but it's also like one of those things
so
where
insulting.
you say the name and then find reaction and then
yes,
if
no,
needed.
he looked at me and he
That's
was like, I've never felt prettier. He was like, you're not gonna know about the Phillies, please. You're not gonna have heard of.
Wow, that's interesting that you said I've never felt prettier.
I know. I was really.
I guess that is the thing you do to like hot girls.
Yeah, I guess he was
You
like,
know?
you'll never know. I was like, I'm.
You're like,
I'm
actually
big Yankees fan.
Yeah, I grew up a tomboy,
Yeah.
dude. I'm wearing a New Jersey Nets sweatshirt.
I'm wearing a New Jersey Nets sweatshirt. I actually thought you were
2003.
I thought you were gonna bully me for the Nets sweatshirt.
I love it.
Because I was worried that sometimes I feel like if you perform sports fandom, there's a pressure to have the like stats and knowledge to back it up.
No.
I feel like I'm trying to become more of a basketball fan, but I would consider myself a baseball fan at the moment.
Right.
But everybody wants you to be like, they're like, oh, OPS and like
Look
I don't.
at you.
Yeah, but I don't know any of those. I know
mean,
what
you knew
OPS is, but I don't know
acronym.
like.
You know
I
what it
feel like
stands for?
it's on base plus slugging.
Nice.
Sorry, genius. But I don't know what anyone's actually is. I just know that I'm like,
Right.
I feel like I should be able to
Baseball,
be like,
there's a million stats and advanced analytics. Where
and why
it's
can't
like,
I just be
yawn.
like Cody Bellinger's handsome? How about that?
He's also dumb as rocks.
But
Have you ever heard that man talk? You're like,
Yeah,
well, if
but
it wasn't
he's
baseball, it was going to be
cute.
on the corner of Canal Street because goddamn, you're
But
dumb.
he's
a smoke show dude.
we like him.
His head's like the size of my torso, though.
I'm also
All
a
right.
big Luke Weaver guy.
Okay.
He's
We're
fun
really
to watch.
name dropping.
Yeah, see, that's I can name drop Yankees
My
players
thing is-
for
so
fandom, but that's my only.
My thing is like there is culture in knowing sports, but also there's a separate culture of wearing attire of sports. Like it's a
Sure.
sense of fashion. It's streetwear. Like I don't expect
Yeah.
anybody to know anything. It's just it's fashion.
Do you think because I feel like sometimes if I'm wearing like a band shirt, then there's also a pressure.
You should know that. You should like the band.
Okay, so you think it's
That's
important
different.
for when you know the band?
I think if you're wearing that, don't be surprised when people are like, "Yo, I love the Nets."
That I like because
Right.
I also
Yeah.
because this is the New Jersey Nets version.
Right.
For those who don't know, the Nets that are the Brooklyn Nets in 2012 moved to Brooklyn. That's the behind the scenes of it.
Cool.
But
Glad
I
we
feel
had that.
like, well, I don't know who listens to our podcast.
Yeah, neither do I. I just know 30 random people a day.
Yeah, and it's a random message that's like, good up today. I'm like,
Yeah.
you listen to our podcast?
You're like, yo,
That's
it's a
fucking
blessing to hit my
awesome."
FYP.
That's
All right.
huge.
Thanks, TikToker123.
But yeah, I want people to talk to me about it because it's like a good New Jersey conversation starter too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want people to be like, who's your favorite player? Because I'll be like, Daisy, you sat on them.
Could you name anyone that played on the New Jersey
currently
Nets?
past like Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson,
Hell
Vince
yeah.
Carter.
Okay.
But that was also when I like lived at home, was growing up
Right,
in
and
New
they were
Jersey,
good.
and we were going to see, like, my dad's a big Nets fan,
Yeah.
so we would.
Is he still a Nets fan?
Not as much, but my brother Patrick, huge Nets fan still.
That's a.
The only Jersey team we have left is the Devils.
Yep, and everybody knows how much I love hockey.
Do you not like hockey?
No, dude.
How do you feel about Gritty,
I think
the Flyers mascot?
No, I know what it is.
Okay.
I think he's a mascot.
Okay.
I don't have like a polarizing opinion about a guy who dresses up in a costume and dances and throws fries into kids' faces.
Sure. That's, you know what? That's valid.
I think I'd be pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But I would probably get in trouble at some point. Just to take your head off when you're behind a kid, just to scare the shit out of them.
One time, so when I was a kid, one of my brothers uses a wheelchair. I've talked about it a lot on the pod. His name is also Greg. When we would go to Greg, I don't know when people are going to come into Greg doesn't like when I provide context. What if this is someone's first episode?
Bro, it's like Groundhog's Day every time.
Okay.
Because you say that, you do it, I laugh, and then you get mad at me and then say
context.
it. It's like it's like
Greg,
it's a scripted part of the episode.
It is. We just play it back. We recorded it once and we just play it back
It's a track.
We used to go to Disney World, like if we went on a family vacation to like an amusement park. Because he's in a wheelchair, you can't go on the rides like directly. Like there's always like back entrances and like.
So you would just like skip the line?
You skip the line, which is awesome.
Fuck, I wish I had
That's a
it.
huge disability perk that no one talks about. You're skipping the line. The first time I went on a school field trip to Dorney Park. Did you ever go there? It's in PA.
Yeah.
So we went on a school field trip to Dorney Park. It was like the first time I'd gone
It's
to an
like
amusement
Hershey.
park where I had to wait in line. I was like, the fuck is this?
Yeah.
This sucks.
I like Dorney Park because it's like when you go and you take a ride, every single time you get on the ride, you're like, this might be the last ride I ever
Dorney
take.
Park, you're afraid to die. Have you been there, Jack?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, it's like a Jersey, PA thing. But
Yeah, well, it's not it's just a PA.
it's
thing.
in PA, but I feel like people from Jersey were going there.
Yeah.
But we would
They go to New
these-
York City too, but New York City's not a Jersey thing.
Okay, well, I feel like Dorney Park, like people from New York aren't going to Dorney Park.
It's a New Jersey, Pennsylvania high school field trip thing.
It's a classic New Jersey,
Ding, ding, ding,
PA
ding, ding,
high
ding,
school
ding,
field
ding,
trip.
Survey says.
If you were in band in either of those two states and you did not go on a high school field trip, to
Yeah,
those.
but like my school also had their like state championship games out there in
Nice,
Hershey, so like
yeah.
it was like the same.
yeah,
You know,
it was a
it's
classic.
a weird area, dude.
But we were at Disney World and there's one ride that like they bring you on and they are bring you out through this like back thing, and they were like, go around this corner, you'll be fine, and it's ramps and elevators and all that. So we like somehow ended up in like the back parking lot of Disney World, like me and my entire immediate family.
Wait, Disney World or Dorney Park?
This was at Disney World. This was when I went to Dorney
So
Park.
this
I
is-
wasn't with my brother.
Okay.
So I was just like, oh,
Is this a new story?
no, this
No.
is the original
Oh, all
story.
right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to. I really want to give
You
you
need
my.
more Adderall.
You don't know.
No, Dorney Park was the place that I didn't go with my brother, and we
Yeah.
had to wait in lines, and I was like, this is the worst thing ever.
Right.
But at Disney World, we were cutting lines left and right because I'd be there with my family.
You're going through the tunnels.
You're going through the tunnels.
Yeah.
But one of the times we brought us out through the tunnels, they were like, just go around this corner. We walked out, door shuts behind us, and all 6 of us were in this back lot of Disney World. And there's like, the mascots are all there, like with their like
Smoking
heads off,
cigs.
smoking
That's
cigs.
sick,
Winnie the
dude.
Pooh smoking a cigarette. My youngest brother's like 3. Like we're all just out there like, what the fuck?
That's like a nightmare.
It was kind of scary. The back
Yeah.
lot of Disney is, and a guy in a like golf cart rolled up and like immediately was like, it's like when you cross a border like to go into Canada and it's like someone's immediately like
Mhm.
at the like you cannot cross a border without. But it was like we came outside and Disney World security is border security level. They were like, who are you guys? How'd you guys get out here? And then they like walked us through. But it was crazy, the back lot of Disney World.
I've
So
been
weird.
there too. It's dark.
He's
Yeah.
smoking a cigarette.
Wait, you were also in the back lot?
Yeah, when I went on a high school field trip with my a cappella group, we went into the back lot into like a trailer, and they were like, "No phones allowed because you don't want to ruin the magic."
Yep.
And then it's like the magic
that's
is like
so
Mickey with his
scary.
head
Yes.
off smoking
Yep.
a cigarette.
That's
Completely.
so scary. Yo, it's so conformative and big corporation places like that it terrifies me.
No, they do not want you
like,
to see behind
it's like when you go to
curtain.
Chick-fil-A and
Yeah.
they're like, "Hi, welcome to Chick-fil-A." Like, you know, deep down, like there's a gun like under the table pointed
Oh,
up.
yeah,
to this
I know
dude's
there's
head.
guns at
You know what I
Chick-fil-A,
mean?
that's
Like
for sure,
that's
yeah.
it's scary nice.
Yeah.
I'd rather
I-
have it do be like, fucking order the number 3. It's what
Yeah.
you came here for. It's
Yeah.
what everybody gets. Just
We
get the
know you're
goddamn
getting
number
it.
3.
What's the
Yeah.
number 3?
I don't know, just like a chicken sandwich.
That sounds like them. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just what everybody does.
That is what they all do.
Like, do you want Chick-fil-A sauce? Yeah, everybody does. Just give it to them.
Yeah, fucking get your Chick-fil-A sauce.
You know what I mean? And also open up on Sundays, Chick-fil-A. Like, what are we doing, dude?
Yeah. That's a good hill to die on. Do you have a hill to die on? You had a hill to die on.
I did have a hill to die on, but I think I forget it.
I know what it is. You want to say it?
Oh, no. Yeah, I do remember it. So I thought of it like an hour before I left to come here today.
Okay, cool. So there's a lot of research to back it up.
Yeah, but I've been trying to think of like little pitch ideas. But I think this is my hill to die on.
Sure.
I, Greg Melly of Hill to Die On, believe that there should be an age requirement for kids to get a phone.
I totally agree.
Okay, boomer.
Yeah.
I think that but I don't know if I think 15 or 16. I think 15. But 16.
When did you get a phone?
When I was a freshman in high school.
So 14.
No, I was 15.
Oh.
But I also wasn't allowed to drive until I was 17, which is also another hill to die on that I might genuinely do.
That's Jersey. Jersey's you have to be 17.
That was just also my parents. I don't
Your
think
parents
that
didn't let you drive until you were.
it was a family
sorry.
rule.
Also, I met Greg's parents.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You did.
Anyway, your dad's really funny, but he also is really mean.
Now you see where Greg gets it from.
The whole
Grace,
time I was
tell the community what my dad said to you.
I don't even remember any
He
specifics.
was like, I loved everybody, but that girl in the end, I just
he was like,
couldn't
that
understand
girl
what
on
she
the
was
end
saying.
with the red hair, what a freak. And I
Yeah.
was like,
I couldn't
I
tell
was
though.
like, I
said
just
you couldn't
met
read.
you.
I think he was probably kidding.
He definitely was kidding.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I think he was too.
He was definitely kidding because when he said girl on the end couldn't read, I was sitting more on the end than Grace.
Yeah,
and
At first I thought it was about you.
Yeah, I thought he was making fun of me
Yeah.
because that's like Greg, his dad, and his brother's love language. So I was like, oh, like
You guys,
stop it.
you guys know I
and then
can't
he was
read.
like, no, I'm talking about Grace. And I was like, oh, well, I just
guess-
go fuck off.
I
And
guess
then-
you love Grace now, too.
Yeah, you love
Yeah,
Grace.
they
I
were-
guess you love Greg's whole triangle.
It was
Yeah.
weird how they wanted to take a picture with us. Like you.
It was so cute. It was so cute.
It's just like, oh, like you were like a celebrity to my parents.
I know. It was awesome.
Which was really
But then
weird.
your dad was really mean to me.
I know. But that's
it was
also
cute.
like
Mr. Melly, if you're listening.
he's not. He just got Instagram
also,
2 weeks
and then I
ago.
do want to talk about the phone thing. But another thing that we talked about was Greg was like, okay, I feel like as an adult, I'm now 28. I feel like when people meet my parents, I'm like, who are my peers? I'm like, you can call them Greg and Michelle. Like, don't call them Mr. and Mrs. Lobo. Greg was like, these are my parents, and you'll be calling them Mr. and Mrs. Melly. Like,
Yeah, don't make it
you'll
weird.
be calling my dad Officer Melly.
Yeah. Show some respect. Because my parents aren't just my parents, they're 70.
So are other people. I know people who are 70 who I call by their first name.
I feel weird when my parents call each other by their first name.
My dad does not go by his first name. My mom calls my dad Lobo.
That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
You just have a thing with your parents, Greg, like this layer of respect that you
Yes.
feel like needs to be there the whole
For
time you're with
distance.
them.
Yeah. No, yeah, there is like that's the only two authority figures I would ever listen to, despite the fact I've never listened to them in my life.
Yeah, I don't think
choices.
you have. Yeah,
I've
it
literally
seems like you have.
I have turned right at every
And
wanted left turn.
That's, you know what? Respect in name only. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
They also were like, why don't you ever invite us to stuff? And I'm like, because I wasn't allowed to say damn until I graduated college. I don't
Yeah.
think you're gonna love.
my parents. I have a little bit of that with my parents too. Like, they're like, we love you. We want to listen to the podcast and come to all your shows. Don't censor any of your material. And I'm like,
Yeah. We're not doing
It's because
that.
you don't even, you can't even fathom what I'm possibly saying. It's
yeah,
like,
and also like everything we're saying is a product of our childhood and environment.
sure.
Like everything how we think is because of them.
Yeah.
Like that's a scary thought.
Yeah.
You know, like
Wait,
to
so your
have a
parents
child-
didn't let you drive until you were 17?
Yeah, didn't get let me get my license. But also when I was in 8th grade, I was in the car with my mom and dad. My dad was driving and we were on a highway and we got hit by a 16-year-old
Holy
kid
shit.
and our car flipped over and
What?
it was on the news and everything. So like I understood why
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get a license until I'm
This
17.
is like when we found out you'd been basically assaulted by a police officer like a couple
Yeah,
weeks
you
ago. Where
almost
sometimes
died, too.
sometimes
Yeah,
Greg
boy.
is just dropping
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, so like I'm like I never fought that, and but I don't think kids should have a phone until they're at least a freshman in high school because I don't think there's any reason to do it. And also, it's like our attention span is so much worse nowadays that even movies in Hollywood, like that's why they're making these more like
Yeah, like
bit
stupider
movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like I just think that there's no positive outcome of all of this.
Yeah, I think you can definitely have a phone. Okay, did you ever have a Firefly? Do you know what that is?
Vaguely.
I had one.
Did you have one? Okay, yeah. Jaclyn, everything about our entire life.
I know.
When you're like, yeah, I went to Disney on an acapella trip, I was like, you would have been my best friend.
Yep.
What's a Firefly?
Firefly was a little like phone that you could pre-program to, and you gave it to kids who were like 11 or 12.
Owl City?
No, okay, the song at Firefly's nice. Sorry, I thought
Similar
you said
era.
Owl City, and I was like,
similar era.
It was a similar era.
Yeah.
It was like
It only did certain things.
you could only call like 5 to 10 pre-programmed numbers. So it was like you call like 911, you call like both your parents.
How old were you when you got that?
I think I got one when I was like 10. Absolutely no reason for me to have one because I didn't like walk home from school. I had a stay-at-home mom. Like there was no need for me to have it. I think I was just like, so-and-so has a Firefly.
Yeah,
I want to get a Firefly.
But that's a 10 thing.
Yeah.
But like now it's just iPhones.
I mean, I went on vacation.
It's really just iPhone or Samsung. There is no off-brand like thing that we're bringing up anymore.
Wait, I have to talk about this with you. Speaking of kids with technology, I went on for Memorial Day. I went away to my grandparents have a lake house, and I went with my cousins. They are like 10 and 12. My aunt listens to the podcast. My cousins are absolutely obsessed with the podcast. All they want is to be mentioned on the podcast.
Yo, shout them out.
Shout out to Bo and Bear.
Wait. Their names are Bo and Bear?
Okay, their real names, and I can ask my aunt. She'll let me say their names on the podcast. Their real names are Matthew and Nathaniel, but they don't go by them.
I think it's cute.
Which one's
It's
Bear?
cute. Bear's Nathaniel.
All right.
It was
Is
his
it Bear
10th
Lobo?
birthday. No, they're my mom's side. So
Fuck, that would be sick. You don't have to throw out their
no,
full
I'm not gonna say their last
government
name,
ID.
but they want to be on the podcast so bad. They kept being like, one of them had found our podcast on TikTok, and I was like, please do not watch any of this.
Wait, no, that's awesome.
They were loving it.
Shout out Bo and Bear.
Shout out Bo and Bear.
Bo and Bear sounds like a great sitcom in the 90s.
What I'm telling you, they asked me every 10 minutes that we were on this trip. They were like, Grace, I just want to make sure you're going to mention us on your podcast, right? And I was like, yeah, we can talk about you on the pod. They really wanted to get mentioned. And then also so this part, I was like, I'm against this. In order to get mentioned, they were like, what are we going to do to get mentioned?
Mm-hmm.
They wrote a AI generated like short story that was about these like aliens. And they were like, they made us do a dramatic reading at dinner. That was 12 parts. And they insisted on reading. They were like, we're going to read all 12 parts. I was like, what? But yeah,
that is dark.
I agree. I was like, wait, you guys, no, you didn't write this. They're like, we worked really hard on this. I'm like, no, you didn't. You typed this into AI. Like, what are you talking about?
Like it used to be like, oh, let's do a dance so that we can have a sleepover.
Let's do a pageant where we do like.
Now it's let's type in something to AI so that we get a shout out.
No, so we get a shout out on the pod and I was like,
and you know what? It worked.
It worked. I'm shouting them out on the pod
for
their hard work in AI. It was sad. It was someone died in the story. It was at dinner. They read the first 3 chapters. I was like, we're only gonna read the first one. Obviously, no one of the other adults here are gonna. It probably took 5 minutes. I was like, you guys are gonna let them read 3 of them? That's 15 minutes. I'm gonna be a horrible mom. I was like, you guys get 1.
Was it good? Is the question.
I mean, like AI.
What is
wrote
good?
It.
Yeah. Wait. I don't. What is the?
I like if they didn't. I don't know. Did you feel
it was an
like
interesting premise. It was about like a dinosaur and an alien, I think. I'm clearly not remembering it that well, but shout out to them. The other thing that they were telling me, they have phones and they use them in school now. So my like cousin is in this like, I think it might be for his like CCD. So it's like a religious class. Yeah. My aunt saw his phone and it was all like, cause she checks his texts because he's like 12. And it was all like Bible quotes like being sent back and forth in this group chat. Okay,
that
so
is way worse than porn. I would rather see my 12-year-old kid watching porn than Bible quotes.
I guess it's for his class.
Don't clip that, by the way, because my mom will kill me.
Yeah.
Because she already hit me with the. I don't even want to.
Greg,
Mom,
you're
I love
Catholic.
You.
What are you talking about?
Right, exactly.
Okay, well, my cousin was sending Bible quotes in this group chat, and my aunt was like, I guess it's for his class. That was their assignment, is like each one of them has an assigned day to choose a Bible quote and send it in the chat. But my aunt found it and was like, what the hell is this? And she's like on Reddit.
Don't tell me I raised a nerd.
She's on Reddit being like Gen Alpha, like Bible quotes, like code word for like things.
Wow.
She was like, is
Bro,
that like for like Jewel?
She thought your kid was Urban Dictionarying like The Wire,
yes,
like literally The Wire using code words. To
it's like John 6:13 means like, okay, meet behind the middle school at.
Make sure you bring 6 of your friends
and bring 1 Jewel. Like, it was like
better be strawberry ice.
Yeah, exactly. But
wow.
no, it was just Bible quotes.
I wanted to see the mom's face.
Yeah.
when they realized it's actually just the Lord.
Yeah. Also, shout out my Aunt Chrissy because she does listen to the pod.
Yo, shout out Aunt Chrissy for still being one of the Lobos that doesn't think I'm too stupid.
She's not a Lobo, but yeah.
Doesn't think I'm too goddamn stupid to watch the pod.
That was Lobo side, thought you were too stupid.
I've been reading lately.
Yeah.
What was her name? Susie?
Yeah. But
and I remember your name. That's how much it hurt me.
Susie is Spike from the band. It's his mom. Okay, anyway, so the phone thing, but isn't it crazy that they're using it in school? So it's also like he wouldn't be able to, he's probably, maybe he's 13, but he wouldn't be able to participate in that thing at school if he didn't have a phone, which is kind of crazy.
It's whack, dude. It's so whack. Kids should not have phones, like for so many different reasons.
What was the first phone you had?
It was like the slide one with a
keyboard. Wait, the chocolate?
Dude, I don't know.
An LG chocolate?
LGBT
I had
chocolate?
an ice blue LG chocolate. It was awesome.
Right. I don't know. I don't know what the name of this phone was when I was 16.
It slid up. It was like it was like slippery, and you slid it up, and then it was the number texting.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And also, you were absolutely terrified at all times that you were maybe going to accidentally hit the internet button.
I don't know.
Also, the grainiest photos of all time.
I smoked a lot of weed in college. I barely remember.
Yeah, you don't
this.
have any memories of your childhood.
No, I don't.
You were in a car accident, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my first phone. And like I only had it because I did after school sports and activities, and then
so I think if a phone was just a thing that called your parents and like just
make it no internet connection, because kids should not be on the internet, bro. They shouldn't.
No, it's not for kids.
They should not be on the internet. No. I shouldn't be on the internet. My brain is not good enough to be on the internet.
No,
it's so bad for you. Like it's literally, it's terrible. There's so many, especially for like, and look, and I don't know the perspective of women, and that's an entirely different story. That's an entirely different story, because the women's problems in the internet is men, right? As a child, it's bad enough when you're like a little girl growing up, and like,
other women can be a problem on the internet too.
Of course, right? But I'm saying men are a legitimate problem to women.
Sure, an actual threat.
Like it's bad enough. Like back in the day, as a little girl, like latchkey kids, you had to navigate your way through the weird neighbor. But now that weird neighbor, there's a million of them online.
Yeah, I think that happens to boys
but I'm
too.
saying right. But what I'm saying as a boy,
yeah,
it is so desensitizing, the shit online.
Oh, completely.
And it's so easy to find. It's so easy to get. It pops up for you when you're not looking at it.
It pops up.
And it fucks your mind up.
Completely.
It fucks my mind up, and I'm a 28-year-old man who knows better, and I can't imagine what my nephews are going through. And then when I see my nephew on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, like who does he follow? Or like what's he liking? And I'm going to these like fucking Instagram models that have 1 million followers, and I'm like, even for the Instagram model, like that's weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't want you looking at me.
Weird.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
And that's also a part of their job.
Yeah.
Like they just have to accept the fact that 20% of their demographic is like 10 to 15-year-old boys, and that's fucking weird.
I briefly dated someone who he had gone to Dalton, which is like a fancy school, very liberal school on the Upper East Side.
You went to where?
Dalton.
Okay.
And they had done this like porn literacy class for like it was either for the high schoolers or like 8th grade, but they did a porn literacy class. And at the time that I was like seeing him, it was all over like Tucker Carlson, because they were like, this woke liberal school is like teaching porn to kids. And it was like, no. The class is literally a porn literacy class where it was like, these kids are getting in, like, they're bombarded with this content.
Right, they're learning about it.
It was an expert coming in to be like, hey, you're going to see this shit online. This is how to deal with like what you're seeing. This is what's real. This is what isn't.
It's like a financial class. I would have been way better with finances if I had a fucking financial class. I actually
think that's a great like idea for like people should have that.
Get ahead of the problem before the problem just bombards you and you have no idea how to react.
And just be like, okay, and also this is not how you're gonna. My mom wouldn't let me get a laptop with a webcam when I was a kid because China. Because there was a girl like 2 towns over who had taken naked pictures of herself on the laptop, and like,
was she hot?
I think she was like 14.
That's a yes.
Cut.
Yeah, cut that. It doesn't represent me.
She had taken these like naked pictures of herself, and my mom, I think they got leaked somehow. I don't know. I think she maybe sent them to someone, whatever. But my mom wouldn't let me get a computer with a webcam because she was like, I don't know. I just don't want you like taking naked pictures of yourself. And even as like a 14-year-old, I was like, the idea that a naked picture of myself would exist at all. Like,
you're like, Mom, I've been drawing them of myself for years.
I'd rather kill myself than have a naked picture of myself exist.
That's the second time you've said that today.
Kill myself?
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I'll stop.
Yeah.
I'm just being extreme. Well, having a naked picture of myself in existence does sound like the worst thing that could ever happen to me. So
I imagine there are a lot of me in the sphere.
In the sphere?
Yeah.
That you've taken?
Yeah, like me or of me for sure.
Nice.
It's just like you come to a point where you're like, whatever, I'll just tell them I was under 18 and then it's weird for them, even if I was like 25.
What? I'm learning so much about you. Greg's an actor, so.
What does that have to do with it?
I don't know. I
wasn't doing porn.
I feel like actors I know are always like, oh yeah, and I was in Hair, which has a scene where you like dance naked on the stage in the middle.
Yeah, I'll say acting was weird. One time I did a play and Jack came to it and I had to make out with this girl right in front of her.
Hot.
Yeah.
Jack was feeling weird about it until she saw it and she was like, yeah, there's no chemistry.
Yeah,
Like I didn't even
that was so
like
awkward.
literally
Nice.
nothing. And I was like, I was trying to tell you.
Good.
And there's
like
something
that.
so funny about practicing a kiss
Oh yeah.
and you're just like, well, here we go.
Yeah.
Here's this gonna be. Like neither of us want
Let's
this, but
see
we're
how
doing it
we
anyway.
Do it. Yeah.
It is a consensual, non-consensual thing.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you about the phone. How would you want it enforced though?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just think it's like there should be like an age requirement somehow for somebody to buy.
What about if there's like you could get a phone, but it's like you're not allowed on Instagram until a certain age. Like you're not allowed.
They already have
on-
that, but how
yeah.
easy is that to just
Yeah, I guess that's true. You
like
can just
sneak through? I just don't think that there's no reason to do any of it. There's just nothing there.
I
for
agree,
them.
and also even just like not the content's crazy.
The
but then-
content is crazy.
But even also just like the amount of screen time, like the amount of screen time that I spend on my phone as an adult who has like in theory self-control, like
good for you.
in theory, but it's like I have more self-control than a child, but it's like
I don't.
yeah, I actually know this about you. You don't have more self.
No. If I had self-control,
Yeah, you'd be a different
this would be
person.
Greg's basement.
You'd have 6 pilots.
Yeah,
This would be Greg's
for real.
basement.
Yeah,
I think though that like the idea of limiting my screen time being so difficult for me to do as someone with like a full adult brain versus how is a child gonna be like, no, the thing that's fun right now is to keep playing Candy
Toon
Crush.
Blast.
Like
Yeah.
or whatever.
But the thing is that like the difficulty too of it is like, even if you're not doing anything wrong online,
Yeah.
it's still
and I want to be clear. Doing a lot
it's
wrong
still,
online.
but it's still like killing your imagination. It's
Completely.
killing your creativity. It's killing
Completely.
your ability to lock and hone in on something for a
Yes.
period of time that is not going to show results until a long time. Like
Yes.
I simply cannot imagine, like, and this is only because this is what I know. This is all I know. Comedy. I cannot imagine the next wave of comics.
Oh my god, no.
And I'm not saying the next wave like 10 years from now. I'm saying
No,
like
no,
30
and,
years
like,
from
yeah.
now. Because I like, dude, it's so hard for us. Like our generation gets shit on for how we are
Yes.
as comics compared to the older generation. Like we have a podcast for God's sake. I can't imagine 30 years from now like what it looks like because there is zero attention span
Yeah.
and like really truly no attention to detail. But I guess like there's always going to be outliers in every
Yeah, I think
era.
there's people
Yeah,
who-
I mean there will. Yeah.
No, I do think people need to touch grass a little
Touch
bit.
it, bro.
Like,
But
it's
I'm the
just
same way.
go-
Sometimes, like, if I want to just, like, when I zone out, like, during my bad, depressed days where I want to zone out, I just want to play video games just for as long as I want
Yeah, but
to.
as long as you don't do that every day. Like if you do that like a couple times a
Right.
month, it's not like
No,
I mean, yeah,
know.
your life would be maybe better if you didn't.
But it's
do
just
that,
like
but
there's
it's, like,
the avenues of how you want to escape.
Yeah.
It's escapism and, like, what you decide to do with it.
yeah, and if
And
you,
I'm learning, too, is, like, as a product of ADHD and depression, like, it's ADHD is not necessarily a focus thing, but it's a reward system thing. It's what can give you
Totally,
want
yes.
an instant reward,
but everyone wants an instant reward for everything. That's why we can't put our phones down.
but not chemically.
Wait,
Like some of us have been like
no, I think some people are chemically worse for that, but I
Yeah.
also think we like
for
overdiagnose
sure.
ADHD
yeah,
to be
it's-
like,
yeah.
and then other people who maybe aren't as chemically like
Say that they have it.
yeah, and
Yeah.
are like, well, obviously I can't do. I mean, the amount of people I know who are like, use like, oh, I can't do this because I have this, and it's like, no, you're just lazy.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's like,
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
that maybe that's harder for you, but like you can,
But the thing
You
too
still have to
is
do your laundry.
now that I've been taking Adderall more,
Sure.
and it's becoming like a more than not situation.
yay.
You still have lazy moments. Like
No, completely.
once you start really taking it, you're 2 weeks into the process
Yes.
where it's not that euphoric feeling anymore.
Sure.
Like you do have to still make that
Yeah.
decision to do it. Like you still have to make your decision that I'm gonna write today.
right.
It's not just gonna happen because you're on Adderall.
no,
Like,
no, and I don't. Yeah.
So it's very interesting because it's like I have had moments where I'm like, oh, I'm still kind of being lazy right now,
I can see this.
And I literally have no excuse.
Yeah.
Like, you know how embarrassing it is when your whole life you're like, well, I can't focus because it's ADHD.
It's 'cause of my ADHD.
But now you're on Adderall, you feel great, and you're like, well, I can't focus because I'm lazy.
Oh, I suck.
Wait,
That's
it's
what it
me
is.
this whole time?
I was the problem.
But the best part about it is, since you know now there is no excuse, you know it's you.
That's like having me not drinking, where I'm like, if I have a lazy day or I don't get up at a normal time, I'm like, oh, it wasn't because I was hungover.
It's a mirror.
It's because I'm fucking lazy.
It's literally a mirror that you can't avoid, which is the best part about it. It makes you have to answer the questions that you're like, well, fuck, I've been avoiding this question for a long
I guess
time.
I actually just suck. That's
like, oh, I need to work on myself?
Yeah, and I would never.
No, what is this, 2005? You think I'm going to work on myself?
What was the working on oneself that was happening in 2005?
Britney Spears, dude.
I don't even know.
Christina Aguilera.
Yeah.
Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson.
The New Jersey Nets.
The New Jersey Nets. The Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah, there we go.
Don't even get me started back in 05.
No, I agree with you. I think that's a good hill.
Jack has been looking at me like the most deadpan look when I was going on that rant. Like, I could not be more interested, Greg. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it was sometimes you have to have a rant.
And that's the only way I know how to speak.
Yeah.
Have we had any update, Jack?
No.
On the...
Okay.
No.
Damn, that's going to be... Okay.
Well,
all right.
Figure it out.
You can check your phone when we get off.
Yeah. What else? What else have we got? Jack, what do you think? Do you have any insight that you would want to add to?
On phone.
I was going to say that you guys aren't lazy just because sometimes you need to take a break.
I agree with that. I do think that sometimes, but sometimes I am lazy in addition to that.
Yes. No, that's fair.
Like, I feel like there's times where I'm like, yeah, you should get off your phone. You're self-sabotaging. But also sometimes it's like, yeah, I do need to just like lie on my bed and look at TikTok.
Like I feel like we all do so much more stuff than the average person. Like the average person does their job and then goes home and then does things for joy.
Yeah.
Or to relax.
Yeah.
And it's like all three of us have a job and then another job that we created for ourselves that we don't get paid for. And so it's like that's a lot of energy that takes, and sometimes you're allowed to be lazy or like
that's
brain
fair,
rot.
but as the contrary though, it's like we asked for it.
No, yeah, but I'm saying like just because sometimes you're not always on doesn't mean you're lazy.
You're not wrong. But also it's like there are people who are we're like the lowest level of what that is.
Yeah.
Too. So it's like it's only going to get harder.
No, yeah.
So it's something that we need to just battle now. It's like it's just kind of like this is what
it
you
is a
wanted
battle.
to do. Yeah, it is.
Do you guys feel like when you're like being lazy, like I feel like if I go on TikTok and just like scroll, I'm like, God, what a waste of time. But if I like watch TV or like watch a movie, I'm like, what a productive use of my time. Like I'm a functioning member of society.
Like you're like consuming art.
I'm consuming art now. So this is basically reading.
That's like when I decide to watch anything other than The Real Housewives of New York City.
Yeah, because that's just like a visual brain rot.
I love it.
Yeah, but it's...
Every time Jack has ever opened her laptop for us to watch something, it's literally mid-episode of a reality housewife show. And I'm not saying
Do you watch it too?
No, it's every single time for 3 years.
I've shown him clips of like
I know
really
Jen
good
Shaw.
moments.
I know the bitches. I know Lisa Vanderpump. I know Bill Burr's wife.
Go off.
She was only Bill Burr's wife. Is in the Real
she was in
Housewives?
like 2 episodes.
Yeah, I'm kind of a real fan, so I know all the little side characters.
You know the
I know
relation to
the
Bill Burr?
other people.
No,
I know.
it's okay.
I know the girl that the sisters, and then the one girl that left because she had a problem.
Me and Greg have a new rule in our relationship, which is for every thing that I know, every fact that I know about sports, I must now tell him something about reality television.
But we matched though. It wasn't even.
I
that,
would say I know a little more than you still, but we're gonna get there.
Right, but you got to realize you have 40 housewives shows. I have one basketball team.
Yeah, but how many people are on the team?
More people on a team than there are in a housewife season.
Are you stupid,
right?
dude?
And it's not just basketball; it's the Eagles.
Yeah, but you go to games. You like that. I'm not forcing the Phillies down. You don't know a single Philly.
Go Birds.
I never talk about.
Do you think there are more? Are there more more people in the Real Housewives universe, or more professional athletes? There's more professional athletes.
But if you think I'm talking about anything other than the Sixers, then you're just
okay. Fine. Okay, yeah, and I don't think.
Do you want to know the honest truth as to why I had to cancel?
I think you're talking about the Philadelphia baseball team.
Can I open
what's
up
the
to you?
honest truth? Yeah, Greg and I were supposed to do a roast of each other, and he canceled.
June 25th, I had to cancel it, and you know why, Grace? Because it is the NBA draft.
Greg, shut up.
And you know what, Grace? I almost canceled Jack's birthday for the NBA draft.
Greg was like, fuck, what day is your birthday party? Because it better not be on the 25th.
Gregory,
it's the one day a year that's me. It's mine. It's life. Say la vie, baby.
Greg is, wow, what an icon.
Yeah, it's the most important thing that's ever happened to me. And
I'm
Mr. Big for the
actually
Sixers.
relieved that we're not roasting each other.
Me too. I hate it. I really hate the idea of roasting. I love that they ask me, and I will do it if it's you or like somebody that I like. But it's
Yeah, I feel like no, I don't like. I was nervous. I was like, Greg's gonna actually make me cry because
No,
I think you wanted to.
Yeah, no, I still want to make you cry.
I think you could.
But it's like I'm never gonna say something to a woman that isn't something she doesn't want to hear. I would just make fun of
that's not true at all. You said things to me, a woman that I didn't want to hear all day.
Today? No.
Yes.
But it's not like real things.
Yeah, I know you're not really trying to hurt my feelings.
I've been I've been to too many roasts where Jack is on the other end of some shit that I can't believe somebody said to her.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I don't know how you could possibly do that.
Yeah, no, I think there's.
So I would never reach it to that point.
I did a roast a couple weeks ago, and afterwards, one of the judges was like, "I think we can all agree that was a pretty bad battle." And I was like, "Fuck this."
Oh, really?
But it was my first one, and I was really nervous. Like it's hard.
Who'd you roast?
Oh,
that's right. I remember this.
Yeah.
Was it good? Like, who won?
I won unanimously, but
Damn,
it
that's
wasn't.
how bad he did.
It wasn't great. I mean, I don't want to. But it was hard. It was his second roast. Like I think it's a hard skill. Like
It's
Sarah Barnett's
entirely-
really, really good at it.
Who?
It's hard. Sarah Barnett.
Yeah. It's just a different skill set.
Yeah, I agree. I think.
But what my favorite thing is like talking about roasts and then everybody, like all the managers at the cellar being like, don't do them.
Really?
Yeah.
Like don't do it at all.
Yeah. She's like, they're just like, they don't. Why would you do that?
I mean, I think it can be like a good exercise. Like I felt like
I think so too.
It's like it made me realize like I need to trim all my jokes. Like they all need to be so much shorter.
Yeah. But also there are ways to make each joke 2 jokes. Which
Yeah, I
Jack does.
agree.
Jack does a very good job of how she writes her material.
Yeah.
Where it's like she's been doing it long enough and been doing as many as she has that she's starting to understand like the algorithm behind it.
But it also just sometimes is a massive waste of brain power to spend time writing those types of
you're never
jokes.
gonna use again. And then also
And it's slow hanging fruit.
Sometimes the person you're supposed to roast that you've started writing jokes about
Chose a
decides
better
that
thing to do.
they need to watch the NBA draft.
I mean, the
instead
Sixers
of-
have the 3rd pick, guys. Like, what are we doing? You
Yeah.
think I'm gonna try to roast some redhead girl that everybody else could roast?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm an easy person to roast.
You're really not. Jack and I talked about you're not an easy person to roast.
Really?
No, not at all.
Wait,
neither
say
of us.
more.
Neither
Say
of us
more.
are very difficult. I think I'm harder than you, or easier to roast than you are,
Wait, why?
because there's nothing out of the crazy norm about you.
Wait, that's so nice.
Yeah, you're not like you don't like do anything that's like
I
really weird.
Was always like, I'm not gonna want to do roasts because I was like very concerned. I was like, oh, immediately someone will call me fat and I'll lose my mind.
No.
Okay, so yeah, then
Nobody has no.
So then that's also been eye opening now that I've been doing them. Where I talked to someone, and he was like, "Well, obviously I'm gonna make fun of you for having red hair," and I was like, "Oh, that literally never occurred to me."
Yeah. Oh, well,
that's
weird. Yeah. But there's nothing about you that's like.
No, it's just that I
Wow,
have red
look
hair
at
and
that
I dress
stupid
like a lesbian.
trait.
That's the main
And
things
you
that I
barely
got.
even do that. You just wear jeans and a sweatshirt.
That sometimes people are like,
Yeah, there's nothing
where are your
about you that
boobs?
is
Like,
ridiculous.
yeah.
But like, yeah, and it's just
Wait,
like
this made my day. God.
like, and when you roast girls that are like attractive, you like start to really just pull like crazy things. Like that's my thing with Jack is like when Jack's like roasting, and then it's like Jack either gets one of 2 directions. The guy, it will be like, I love your boobs and I want to marry you.
Yeah,
which
I
is
heard about
never
that
the
one.
good route
Yeah.
because
There's
they've
been
lost.
another one.
There was
lost-
another one?
Yeah, they've lost every time when they do that. I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Because you lose.
And Greg's like, I love your boobs and I want to marry you.
And I did that and I lost. And I'm like, look, take it from my
it's happened
playbook.
3 times.
You're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Or you do the other route where it's usually another girl or
Yeah.
somebody that is a good roaster when in reality it's like,
Yeah.
you know, and then they just go and inflate what the truth is and
Yeah.
start to like body shame Jack. And I'm like, first of all, you are an ugly human being.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, can we
Chill.
just be honest and talk shit about like what you look like?
I love that
And
Greg
I
is
just want to
like,
be like, dude, you are a girl or a guy.
Yeah.
You would rather, I bet you in your life, you would wish you looked like her
Yeah.
or you could bang her.
this is Greg's really, honestly, we started the episode being like, Greg hates women. And Greg has really come around to like, I'll kill you if you
He
talk
hates
to Jaclyn
women,
Rock.
but he loves me so
Well,
much.
I don't, obviously,
He
I don't.
loves his triangle.
I don't hate women. I obviously joke, but it's like I very much am pissed at what it's been for as long as it is.
Yeah.
Like you are a fucking ugly looking dude who jerks off to weird shit
Yeah.
probably, and you're gonna call my girlfriend ugly.
Yeah.
You would be so lucky if she even let you see her
I
naked.
love this.
And also, if you're a girl and you're gonna talk shit about
she
Jack,
lets anyone see her naked. We've already discussed
I'm like,
it.
dude, I'm like literally anyone I know could bang you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anyone specifically. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
who it is or
Yeah.
who it isn't.
Okay.
Okay.
But I'm just saying.
Also,
like, let's
we
be
gotta
real.
we gotta wrap this up. Do
I
you have
want
any
to apologize.
apologies? I think
to
you need to apologize for the last 5 minutes.
almost everything I've said today. I have been scatterbrained.
You know what? You came back around on women. You really did.
I don't know if people really listen to the whole pod to really
if
realize
I were
that I
them,
did that.
this would be
Right. I want to say I woke up at 10.
You got pretty much no sleep, I would say.
I'm working on 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Shout out to women. I'm sorry, but I'm also like, you're welcome in a sense.
Yeah.
I want to apologize to lesbians. It's been a really long time.
We haven't brought them up in a while.
I know.
We've been really harping on autistics lately, and
I don't like just adding an S to that.
That's how Henry said
I
it.
I know.
And that video did get taken down for hate speech.
Yo, okay, let's apologize to TikTok. TikTok, so sorry that you had to take down our very satirical and joking
I think it's because
TikTok,
he said Islamo-Marxist terrorism,
which I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just that phrasing was not gonna hit the algorithm.
So shout out TikTok for giving us a second chance. We will be better. And
thank you, TikTok. Thank you to the TikTok.
The algorithm.
Thank you to ByteDance. Thank you to China. Thank you to
Thanks to Trump and also Biden. But also Kamala.
Thank you to the rain for raining during the day of Trump's North Korea military birthday parade.
We are really saying a lot of trigger words right now
Yeah.
for the internet.
This is for a podcast, though. This isn't for the. We're not gonna clip this.
All right. I'm sorry for everything.
Fine, bleep it all. Bleep it all. I didn't say anything bad.
I love all of you guys.
Anyway, this was awesome.
I think that was
I don't
the
think
episode.
I have to apologize to anyone, do I?
Grace, I don't even remember what I said.
Yeah, I have no idea either.
Apologize to the band. If
No,
they don't
the
want to
band is
follow
awesome.
you, if they don't want to follow you, they don't have to.
I'm not sorry about that. They have to follow me.
Interesting, Jack.
I'm a public figure in many ways.
Should there be anything that we apologize for?
No, I think you covered it.
We
nailed
covered
it.
Yeah, you nailed
Maxim,
it.
what do you think?
You're good.
Hell yeah, Maxim. That's right.
Okay.
Fourth person.
Yeah.
Bow.
Okay, that's our episode. You can follow us at Hill to Die on Pod on Instagram. It's at Hill to Die on TikTok with a bunch of periods in between all the words. I'm at gklobo.
I'm gregmelly at gregmelly, and that's Jamie over there at jacksowack.
And follow at My Friend's Basement too.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're dope.
nice.
So we love you guys. We'll see you
Anyway,
next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Peace.